last entry. As you may notice, I'm not in the same place. I'm home. I've actually been home for a little while now. Christmas and New Year's are over, if that gives you a clue, so it's been a little while. I do have a little bit more to talk about as far as when I was in Ireland. We left off with my trip to Belfast. The day that I got back to Cork from Belfast, my boyfriend came to visit me. He was there like right around the same time I got back. He stayed in Europe with me for a week. I can't even begin to tell you how awesome it was to have my boyfriend here in Europe. This was the longest time that we'd ever been apart from each other. So we spent a couple days in Ireland. I wanted to show him around. I took him to Blarney Castle. You got to see a castle if you're in Ireland. That weekend was Thanksgiving. So that Thursday on Thanksgiving Day, we flew to Copenhagen to meet up with our best friend, the same person who met me in Amsterdam and in Rome. He was living with a host family, so even though we spent a good amount of time in Copenhagen and did a bunch of stuff there, we also got to see some Danish suburbs, which is cool because I like to see other areas when I go on trips, and usually I just got to see the major cities. So highlights of Copenhagen, other than just being an awesome trip because I was with my two best friends in the world. We went to an ice bar in Copenhagen, which was possibly the swankiest thing I've ever done. It was so cool. I also got to ride some Icelandic horses that his host family owned, which was really cool. They were so sweet. Honestly, like, they were some of the nicest people that I've met the whole time I was abroad, because they just, I don't know, they knew I liked to ride from my friend, I guess, and they took me out to their barn that they keep their horses at, and I got to go on this trail ride, and I was the only one riding. It was pretty cool. So we spent the weekend in Copenhagen, got back to Dublin, flew back to Dublin that Sunday, and then we spent Sunday night in Dublin because my boyfriend had to fly home the following morning, and it made no sense to go back to Cork. So I showed him a proper good time in Dublin, and that was cool. It was really a fantastic weekend. Everything about it was great. Following weekend was my last trip. I met my friend from Vassar in Barcelona, which was so cool. It was the first time I'd ever been to a primarily Spanish-speaking country, and even though they mostly speak Catalan there, and I don't really understand that, I got by on my Spanish the whole time, which was so cool. It was like the most rewarding feeling to know that my Spanish could actually get me somewhere, and never once did they do that thing where they switch to English because they know you're not, native. Barcelona was amazing. It was definitely one of my favorite cities. It had the coolest architecture. Thank you, Gaudi. Oh my god. The Sagrada Familia is absolutely breathtaking. I would recommend anybody go there. It's a must see if you're going to Europe and you don't get there making a mistake. I also went to Park Güell, which is now one of my favorite places in the world. It's kind of like Gaudi's Disneyland. It's so cool. And I did not have any run-ins with the infamous Barcelona pickpocketers, but my friend did. So that's not fake. They are really good at pickpocketing there. I know I was standing right there when it happened too on the subway. So watch yourself. Other than that, though, Barcelona was awesome. Had some pretty kick-ass paella while I was there. Everything was just fantastic. After Barcelona, I didn't have that much time left in Ireland. I think I had one more full weekend, so 2 weeks, essentially. And it was so busy. Word of caution, like, they do tell you, oh, the academic system is different, and there's going to be more at the end, and if you think that you've got nothing to do, you're wrong. I mean, I knew all this going in, and I still found myself playing catch-up at the end. Or, I guess playing catch-up's not the right thing to say, because I was never behind. It's just that I had a lot of stuff going on at the end, so I was, like, very busy my last couple weeks in Ireland. But it all worked out. Everything got done. Still got to go to a few more trad sessions while I was in Cork, some of the best ones that I saw of the whole time I was abroad. So, all in all, I had a very good last couple weeks in Ireland. One thing I will say, as far as recommendations, is that sometimes you'll get assignments that are not due until like January, and you're leaving in mid-December, so it's really tempting to just do all of your work that's due and then work on that over break. I really didn't want to do that, even though I was completely overwhelmed, and putting it off might have been easier at the time. I really didn't want to do that because I knew that as soon as I got home, it was like Christmas time and New Year's, and you're seeing all these people you haven't seen, so I didn't want to have to be like, oh, gotta go work on some stuff that I have to email to Ireland. Like, not what I wanted to do, and I would recommend that to anybody. It may seem like a lot while you're doing it, but then as soon as you're done, you can just enjoy maybe your last day at that point and just relax when you get home, because after traveling as much as I did and after having to work my butt off at the end, there's nothing more you want to do when you get home than sleep or at least just relax with your friends because, I don't know, it's been a busy semester. Let's see, any other recommendations or things I think you should know? I personally wish that I had brought more clothes. I was probably operating on a very small fraction of my wardrobe, and I don't even have a particularly big wardrobe, uh, nor is that important to me, but I only packed one checked bag of clothes and a carry-on, which was kind of fine, but after 4 months, you kind of find yourself getting frustrated with that. So I probably would have packed 2 checked bags worth and left one of them slightly emptier so that I would not only have like a lot more room for stuff I wanted to bring home, but I could have brought more to begin with. If you're studying in Ireland, okay, or at least in Cork, I found the support system there really lacking. I didn't have internet in my room for like half the time that I was in Ireland, and I emailed not only my program but the school, and first of all, they wouldn't get back to me for weeks sometimes, so long that I like forgot what the question was by the time they got back to me. 2, their responses were usually, "Oh, I don't know. Why don't you ask someone else?" Like I had to ultimately figure the problem out on my own, and it was completely kind of lucky because other people were having that issue too. So it didn't matter that a lot of us were asking, and it didn't matter that I was really staying on them about it. I didn't really get the help I needed on some things. As far as emailing slow. Usually emailing is the fastest way for me to get a response. It was the slowest. If I wanted to get an answer on something, I usually had to walk down to the international office. And that was a pain in the butt. The fact that the international office couldn't just email me questions that like could easily be answered in a sentence. The fact that I would have to go was annoying. It was also annoying because office hours. I don't understand how you can run anything on the office hours they've got. It's a really long lunch break in the middle of the day, and then they're like barely open before and after that. So you really kind of have to bend over backwards to get some things done sometimes. I just think that if you're not going to be physically available at times that people can even remotely easily work into their schedules, then you should at least be reachable in an email. I just didn't understand it. Any other recommendations? If you're studying in Ireland, you'd best try the Murphys, because I think it's better than Guinness in my opinion. I think that's it. Anyway, so now I'm home. I am thrilled to be home. That seemed to be the general consensus, actually. A lot of people, like myself, are definitely going to miss Ireland, the trad sessions and the views especially. I definitely miss Ireland, and I want to be able to go back. I want to be able to just be like, oh, I'm gonna hop over to my favorite pub, but it's so far away. I wish I wasn't so far away that I couldn't just visit. All in all, I had a wonderful abroad experience, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but here's kind of the biggest thing that I would say to people going abroad, because you don't know how you're going to handle things. You've got Europe like at your doorstep. You could go anywhere you want, but you also want to take in the country you're living in, and sometimes it's hard to balance that. So here's generally what I found among people. The people who really established a base for themselves in Cork that I was friends with that were internationals, the people who really made a lot of Irish friends, they were the ones who did not travel very much. And I know that might sound obvious, but by did not travel very much, I mean really did not travel very much. To kind of have a expiration date on your friendship, I guess, or at least on your time with someone there, it makes it hard to make friends with the people who live there. So you really do have to spend a lot of time in Ireland or in whatever country you're living in if you're really going to make any lasting friendships. I personally chose to travel as much as possible, and that made it hard. But that was my choice. I knew going into it that not only would I have no money upon returning, which is absolutely true, but that I wanted to get to as many places as possible. And I did exactly that. I made to 11 countries, and I don't regret it. I could have made more of a life for myself in Ireland, but honestly, I feel like I did see a lot of Ireland, and I did have a great time when I was there, but I also got to travel as much as I wanted. And it's kind of just, you have to determine what's more important to you. So now I'm home, and I guess this is it for my blog. Some of you may notice that I'm behind on pictures, so I will still keep posting pictures to my personal blog. If you're on IFSA, go to this link and you can see all the pictures I've been posting. And if you're going abroad this semester or in the future, I hope you have a wonderful time. So, as they say in Ireland, slán.
Never loved one like you. Man, oh man, you're my best friend. I scream it too. There's nothing that, there ain't nothing that I need. Well, hot and heavy pumpkin pie, chocolate candy, Jesus Christ. Ain't nothing please me more than you.